Our Soul Matters theme for the month of March is renewing faith, and so we continue our exploration today, gaining wisdom for our journey from those hopeful in the face of trial and disappointment, from a post-punk alternative music icon, and from our own lived experience. Here's a story. A congregant texted me the other day a short video of a beautiful new life, a baby with soft skin and the tenderness of newness, a fragile need, arousing exquisite care in his grown-up. The baby spoke in his baby dialect with his grandmother, communicating with her, and she with him beyond the language of words, with vulnerable sensation and trust that the message got through, though we might wonder how, given that no common words were spoken. Now a shift. I'm uncertain about the amount of or intensity of attention you give to sermon titles and worship descriptions, though someone corrected the worship email this week, so somebody pays attention to something. I don't know if you pay attention to the orders of service, but today is a celebration day. Today we are celebrating. Here we are gathered, held in the balance of the vernal equinox, day and night the same length. It only happens twice a year, something to give us pause, and we celebrate today, but not necessarily what the weekly and the website said we would celebrate. You may have been expecting, or maybe not, that we would celebrate the conclusion of a successful silent auction. That's what's in today's worship description. But we're not celebrating an auction today. We wanted an auction. We wanted the fellowship of an auction evening with theatricals and cakewalk, with offerings of abundant treasures and new opportunities and shared dinners. But for a variety of reasons, it didn't work out. You might have been expecting to celebrate a pledge drive that reached its shining financial goal. The goal that moves the chains on the field for when our fellowship will achieve a yearly balanced budget with no further need to spend reserves on operational costs. But for a variety of reasons, that did not work out. Celebrations call for music. And you might have been hoping for, I know you were hoping for because two people came to tell me today that they were hoping for this. You might have been hoping for, though it was not advertised, a rousing choir anthem and song leaders and talented musicians from the ranks of our congregation. But you know the drill. For a variety of reasons, that did not work out. And you might feel some anxiety about all that news. What does it mean for us? What are we going to do? Why isn't worship like it was before? Where are the printed orders of service, for goodness sake? Anxiety is understandable, but I advise against it. We are held in this moment, in the balance of the equinox. At a time like this, it is good practice to let it be. Just let it be, especially in this time we are sharing. Let it be and listen for the wisdom within, the silence and the dark in you. Focus on the feelings that soothe your spirit, inviting you to quiet yourself and to wait, to see what unfolds, to imagine possibilities without attachment or struggle. I have longed for people to sit at the front of the sanctuary, and here you are, so close. Rest in the wisdom of letting it be. There will be answers. Light will shine. There will always be singing in the hard times. And today we will sing. And I ask, did you see the full moon on Friday? Maybe not. Obscured by clouds or past your bedtime? How about this morning when it was fogged? Beautiful. But the full moon, whether you saw it or not, was there. Did you celebrate St. Patrick or St. Gertrude this week? Maybe not. Not your ethnicity, or you don't like cats. But still, the celebrations went on. Celebrations of roots and history living still. Do you feel the balance of the vernal equinox right now? It just happened at 10:33. How does one feel an equinox? But still the balance is there, even if we are not tuned to it. So for now, let the anxiety be. William Sloane Coffin said, "I love the recklessness of faith. First you leap, then you grow wings." Today might seem like an ordinary Sunday, but it is no more ordinary than any other day of this miraculous existence, the gift of life. Today is a day of celebration, of recklessness, of believing, despite anxiety and disappointment, that we ought rightly to have faith in ourselves as a community with gifts to present to each other and to the world. Let us prepare ourselves for the leap, sure that the necessary wings will emerge, because what we celebrate today, not fundraising in itself, what we celebrate whenever we gather is intangible and ineffable. The very nature of the universe and our human possibility within it calls us to a radical act of cosmic defiance, of subversive optimism, of unconditional and insubordinate love, to defiantly expect the universe that we wish for. What does that mean? And how do we put ourselves into such a position to be flamboyantly hopeful and countercultural even, when so many forces would have us fearful, hopeless, and depressed? Post-punk musician and philosopher Nick Cave. I know that sounds strange to many of you, but wisdom is everywhere if you look for it. Cave reflects on the universe that simply does not care about us. It does not act with malice or desire to harm us. It is simply unaffected by our condition. Cave's comments are part of his answer to the despairing questions of young Croatian Gianelli, who might in this moment be a frightened Ukrainian teenager wondering what life means in the midst of this vicious invasion and heartbreaking devastation. Poor Gianelli might be a trans youth in Texas wondering how they are to become themselves when the state itself is actively against them. Despite the suffering, Cave does not look at the universe as a source of misery. Rather, he says that this reality is what connects me to you and you and you and to every other sentient being in the universe. A religious sensibility is what Cave imagines we require in order to live in a world that is indifferent, though not, he says, cruel. A religious response to love regardless of the outcome, to love in spite of the pain, to see and seek connection irrespective of the costs. Cave writes, if one acknowledges the state of affairs, that the universe is indifferent, then it sets up a situation that allows us to make a simple choice. Either we respond to the indifference of the universe with self-pity and narcissism and a self-serving manner, or we stand tall, set our eyes clearly upon this unfeeling universe and love it all the same. No matter what disappointment we face, no matter how vicious the world is, how viciously it might treat us or those we love it all the same. According to Cave, making that second choice, standing before this great, blank, heartless, cosmic event, saying, we believe you, we believe in you, we love you, we care for you. Well, that amounts to the greatest act of human beauty we can ever perform. And our religious response calls us to create our own divinity, our own godliness through this ferocious need. We yearn the heavens awake, and if we are quiet in prayer or meditation, sometimes we can feel the heavens stirring, breathing our fragile and reckless love back through us. In prayer or meditation, we feel the stirrings of faith, maybe the balance of the equinox, and we make the leap, the wings emerging to hold us. Cave is clear-eyed about prayer in an indifferent universe. He says, well, I don't know where my prayers go. I don't know if anyone is listening. My prayers mostly revolve around the well-being of the ones I love, because I feel, possibly erroneously, that the world aligns itself in such a way that it draws those I send my prayers to closer to me. Prayer for Cage enables him to proceed in a rightful way, feeling less a victim of the endless self-defeating thoughts that can go on in my mind, and instead I feel a quietness and clarity of thought. Prayer, good vibes, intentions, positive affirmation, loving thoughts, whatever you call it, it doesn't matter. Prayer is the reaching out through time and space to embrace those we love, believing that holding our beloveds in prayer can really do something good for them and for ourselves as we hold them in those intentions. So beyond expecting everything now to be as it was before the pandemic, instead of dwelling fearfully upon the deficits that seem to stop us in our tracks, let us pray. In other words, let us celebrate the love that is here and the love that can be. We celebrate the sweetness of having coffee hour in the fellowship hall. Thank you, Nancy, Sue, and Gail for that. We celebrate that sweetness even as it is bittersweet to think of coffee hour in the fellowship hall and not be able to attend it. We celebrate those who are no longer with us by choice or because life has moved that way. They are beyond, or they have chosen a different path. We celebrate that we remain a religious community though fractured in space. Here we are, all of us. We celebrate all who are present, yearning as much for each other's company as for any message from the pulpit. We celebrate the here and now, the doing and giving and moving for justice, seeking for the truth of our times and seeking knowledge, providing our children a sense of their worth, of their worthiness and their value in a world that can treat children as disposable and less than. We celebrate the unknown and the unknowable, the itch, the tingle, the catch in the breath when we realize that we are caught in a web of existence that is strange and mysterious as it is comforting and vital. We gather in the only place in this larger culture where it's right and good to ask, who am I really at my center? Why am I here? How am I to be in this world of pain and isolation, as well as the joy that is as piercing and sudden as pain? For 70 years, UUFM has been a community leaping and growing wings, regardless of the pitfalls. Sometimes fearful, sometimes fearless, sometimes at the same time. 70 years of being and doing, yearning and striving, staying and hunkering. We wobble ahead, feeling that we are something important in the world. Not always sure what exactly, but faithful to the fellowship, to gathering, to being visible in the community, to sending out the saving words of Unitarian Universalism, to becoming more than we are individually, collectively loving into existence the world we long for, trusting as a baby that our message will get through. Yesterday, today, and with loving work together for many years to come, we people of the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Mankato, we will find the spoons to work our obstacles and create solutions, regardless of what confronts us. We gather then and now and into the unfolding future with faith in the power of diversity and the power of love, and the hope of a world transformed by our care. Ours is not a faith that requires perfection or rightness in one another. Rather, ours is a faith that in our shared imperfection, we might learn to stumble and fall together. A faith that though we may understand less than a baby, though we grown ones may struggle to understand an exquisite new life, love calls us on, always on, to deeper understanding and connection. Ours is a faith that we will help one another to rise and to try again and again and again. Whatever our challenges, disappointments, and shortfalls, I have faith we will find a way through together.